financially mostly, from what I see. 'Cause, it's all about, everyone wants to be a big shot, but they got to pay the price. You know, they have to know how to handle defeat.
If I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Into that,
I don't know what's wrong happened with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight.
Mike Tyson isn't holding back on Jake Paul's bold claim of beating Gervonta "Tank" Davis. The former heavyweight champion, known for both his brutal honesty and devastating knockout power, blasted Paul after the YouTuber-turned-boxer suggested he could defeat one of the most feared fighters in boxing today. Tyson, who has shown both support and criticism throughout Jake's boxing rise, made it crystal clear, stepping into the ring with a pound-for-pound talent like Davis is no joke. He reminded Jake there's still a huge gap between internet stardom and true elite boxing greatness.
Quite surprised because it sounded like Jake Paul and Joshua was getting closer and closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it? Yeah.
The matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis is scheduled for November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. It was initially to be held in Atlanta, but was moved after concerns from the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission over how large the weight difference is between the two fighters.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this. But Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is right.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis is officially set for November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. Originally scheduled for Atlanta, the fight was moved after the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission raised concerns about the massive weight difference between the two.
people are like so fucking insecure. I kind of lost myself in the whole entertainment world. And so when I found boxing, it gave me that like routine, that discipline. I got to like take time for myself in these boxing camps. And every day for training, I had to like meditate. And boxing gave me the ability to like reflect on myself and like realizing who I was and who I wanted to be. And that helped me mature. You get addicted to that validation from others. And that's something that I realized that I had to face. Like, why do so many people want clout? I'm not good enough. I need followers. I need likes. It's driving a lot of our generation because they're working so hard to get this external validation.
Gervonta Davis is undefeated in 30 wins, 1 draw, and many knockouts. He holds the WBA lightweight title, but that title will not be on the line in this fight because of the mismatch in size, and this fight is being promoted as an exhibition. That means some of the formalities of a typical professional bout, rounds, weight limits, and various regulatory constraints are more flexible and negotiable, depending on which commission ultimately sanctions it.
25 is at the next year. I'm out of it.
After our second fight. You're out of it?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Who do you think will win between Jake Paul and Gervonta?
But I don't know. It should be Gervonta, right? But the weight size and everything, we'll see.
Jake Paul enters with a record of 12 wins, 7 by knockout, and 1 loss. He has transformed his influencer fame into a real boxing career through high-profile crossover fights and lucrative business ventures.
I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now. but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's a top dog, there's no doubt about it. He showed that. But Barrios, he's a pretty good fighter. Last time I saw him fight, he was pretty durable.
Gervonta Davis remains undefeated with 30 wins, 1 draw, and countless knockouts. He currently holds the WBA lightweight title, though it won't be on the line here due to the size difference. The bout is being promoted as an exhibition fight, meaning rounds, weight limits, and other regulations are more flexible depending on which commission sanctions it.
Gervonta's going to fight Jake Paul in November, and then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart bit of business.
I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight, but I truly believe you're going to see it at the beginning.
Tyson, who once shared the ring with Jake Paul, has urged caution. He respects Paul's power and pressure but warns that Davis is on another level, too fast, too skilled, and too explosive. Tyson stresses that while Jake has size and youth on his side, Tank's technical mastery and knockout ability make him extremely dangerous, regardless of weight. He cautions Paul not to underestimate the real risks that come with this matchup.
That's serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size. It was a professional. It's a mismatch, and you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him. He's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
Promoter Eddie Hearn also expressed concern, calling the fight more than just a spectacle. He warns the mismatch could leave Paul physically damaged, derailing future plans, especially a rumored fight with Anthony Joshua. Hearn admits the commercial appeal is massive but insists the danger outweighs the money.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer, he never will be, and he proves time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
Former world champion Carl Froch slammed the matchup as unsafe, pointing out the 65 pounds weight gap. Paul fights near the cruiserweight limit at 200 pounds, while Davis competes around 135 pounds at lightweight.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Froch explained that no real boxing commission would sanction this kind of bout under normal rules. He warned that a single heavy shot from Paul, especially with his size and mass, could cause serious harm to Davis.
The opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite, he could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay.
Although Frock admitted Davis has the skills, movement, and ring IQ to control stretches of the fight, he doubts Tank has the power to hurt Paul decisively. That massive weight advantage looms too large.
Paul wasn't Jake Paul. If he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer. And you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever. Knock him out with one punch like that. Like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing.
Chael Sonnen, however, disagrees. On his YouTube channel, he claimed, "It's not as bad a fight as people think, especially compared to the outrageous Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua rumors." Still, Sonnen criticized Tank's inability to sell fights, arguing that while Davis is a brilliant fighter, he lacks the charisma to hype a matchup into a true blockbuster.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. It's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took an L there, but Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora.
Joe Rogan has continued defending Jake Paul's legitimacy, saying critics dismiss him unfairly because of his celebrity background. Rogan insists Paul has shown clean technique, real power, and effective offense. Nothing about his performances appears staged. Slowly, Rogan argues, skeptics are beginning to respect Jake as a real boxer.
Wanting to see it happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like...
Critics, however, blast Paul's decision to fight an aging Mike Tyson at 58. Many, including Frock, saw it as a money-grab spectacle rather than a true sporting challenge, casting doubts on whether Paul genuinely respects boxing as more than entertainment.
Hey, James, quickly, I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed-up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, like, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on. I'd like.
There's also buzz about Jake Paul possibly facing Anthony Joshua in early 2026. Talks have already started, with Wembley Stadium mentioned as a potential venue. Paul has repeatedly called out Joshua, claiming he can shock the world.
Are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, you know, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury and backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. You know, his brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got...
Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, acknowledges the fight's commercial appeal but warns that Joshua risks damaging his legacy by taking on Paul, who many still dismiss as more of a showman than a contender.
Moment of time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me to believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody, pretty please, with sugar on top? I'm interested.
What did you think about the fight, Jake Paul?
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off. Mike Tyson is 57 years old, man. Jake Paul been training with professional boxing trainers for years. He takes the sport very seriously.
Thank you. So let me ask you, that's the question I have, because great kid, great businessman, by the way, amazing, and I know how he does all this, the character and the persona. We keep saying that he doesn't want to be a boxer. He's not a boxer, but then
Jake Paul is a boxer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly. He's a boxer.
He can fight. I respect it. So go in there against fighters. You should be climbing the ladder towards those other fighters and taking the sport seriously to the point where you're fighting actual boxers. Now he decides to fight a fighter, a real fighter, which is Tyson. But Tyson is 30 years older. Stop this nonsense of going against dudes that either ain't boxing or is 25 years removed from the sport.
So the question remains, will Jake Paul's size and power overwhelm Gervonta Davis, or will Tank's skill and speed shut down the hype once and for all?